Hi, I'm Jay Woodwolf, and welcome to Cauldron Brew. I am here with my co-host Julie Rockwell. Hi, Julie.
Hello.
So today we're talking about the figureheads of Wicca, which I know this is a topic you don't know very much about.
I know just from what I've. You okay?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, from just bits and pieces from what I've, saw online on YouTube and, what have about. That's about it. I know next to nothing when it comes to this.
So the Wiccan movement started with Gerald Gardner, and I don't know the exact details of why or how or what. I don't think anybody really does. He said he learned it from Dorothy Clutterbuck, but from the research I've done, I don't think she ever existed. And if it
Right.
was her, it was probably maybe a witch name that was not even a legal name.
Right.
So
Yeah, because I've heard different things from, that he, just, learned traditional British witchcraft, and then he took that and then formed his group, but it just wasn't, the traditional witchcraft. It was he took so many different things and just put together and called it his own.
right. And then Dorian Valente, she had to go behind him and clean all that up. Dorian Valente, I believe, also wrote the Wiccan Read. Um, But yeah, out of all of the people that was with Gerald Gardner, I think Dorian Valente was probably the most level headed.
Okay.
Gardner was a little eccentric.
There is a lot of bad stuff about him online
Yeah.
that he was just nuts. So I don't know. I haven't, dug deep into it, but
Um, I know that a lot of his inner circle had a fallen out. It was Raymond Buckland, Dorian Valente, Alex Sanders. Um, there was a few others, and they all
right.
had a fallen out with Gardner. We don't know what it was over. They didn't want to put that out there. Okay, their business. Fair enough. Um, Buckland, actually, he's the man. Raymond Buckland had brought Wicca to the United States when he moved over here.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had a cleaned up version of it. So he put out a few books, and when he eventually left the Gardnerian tradition, he started his own tradition, Sax Wicca, like
What's that one?
Anglo-Saxon based.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was he a part of the original group,
Farrar,
or did he come
I
in
don't know if he
towards the
was
end?
like the first generation or the second generation. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't really found anything in my research to say that he was part of the first generation of Wiccans or the second generation of Wiccans. I'm not entirely sure on it.
Okay. So he brought it over and then decided to create a whole his own version of it.
Yeah, I know he also was one of the people that had a fallen out with Gardner. And
Right.
my running joke is he got so fucking mad he left England.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, Gardner, not Gardner, but Buckland, he came out with Buckland's complete book of witchcraft, which it is a Wiccan book. Um, and it has everything from initiations to rituals, robe colors, candle colors. There is no, like, I've been through that book a few times, and there's no talk of crystals. The only time, like, there's a talk of even a remote talk of crystals is okay, when you're crafting your wand, you can put a decorative piece on the tip. It could be a
Right.
crystal.
Where did that the whole thing come from to
I
where
don't,
everyone that I've talked to is they claim that they're Wiccan, but they hoard the hell out of crystals. And it's like they think that that's, everything all these crystals have all this magical properties that they will do everything and you don't have to do nothing.
uh,
I know, but it's just everyone that I've met that claim that they're Wiccan, it's the be all end all is you have to have all these crystals.
I tell them that they're not Wiccan.
Right.
Yeah, I'll straight up tell them you're not Wiccan. If they sit there, oh, I'm Wiccan. I was like, then I'll ask them, do you know who Gerald Gardner is? Do you know who Raymond Buckland is? What was his part in Wicca? What was their part? Dorian Valente, uh, Janet and Stuart Farrar, Gavin Bone. I'll start listing off these names, and a lot of them cannot tell you who these people are.
Well, no, because that entails research
Right. And it
to
takes them away from
actually.
their fucking rocks.
Yeah, that's the only group that I've ever seen that just thrives on crystals. Even the people that I've known that do new age, spirituality, everything, it's not all crystals for them. It's the help of a focal point and to help with certain vibrations that they can
Yeah,
carry. But they don't sit there like that. There's one that I saw, everything she had to have everything with rose quartz because and then she was mad because she wasn't, the love of her life wasn't coming in because the rose quartz weren't, doing it for her. I'm like, if it was just that simple,
it,
you know
right.
the world would be a much better place if the crystals could do actually what these people think that they do.
I got a few crystals floating around here. I don't, just a few, and I don't even know where they're at. Cat got a hold of one.
Well, it's shiny and pretty. you
Yeah,
know I have some, they're great, in my cabinet, or some that I do for my candles, for decorative pieces. But
I,
that's
I I think I got one on my altar as a decorative piece, but that's about it.
yeah.
I don't hoard rocks. They're
Well, no, see, most of them I've gotten as gifts, just different ones, and I've kept them. They're pretty. You know, I like them, but they're not the be all end all.
no. I don't know where that came from. I know, like in the New Age spiritualists thing, yeah, they use it at like a focal point as a form of meditation, or like if they're working with certain chakras or something, they'll
Right.
have a
Well, yeah, because
crystal.
of the vibrations for it,
Yeah,
but they don't say it's going to do everything for them.
no, I
That's
don't
why
know. I don't know how it got tied in with the New Age spiritualist movements. It just did. It's just, oh, what I'm doing is, I think what it was somebody started practicing something, and it had similarities to Wicca. Oh, I'm Wiccan.
yeah, that's why for a long time, I had such a bad taste in my mouth because, well, one, they're hypocrite. Most of them the ones, let me clarify that. The ones that I've met and the ones that I've, you know, have watched and that they're hypocrites.
Yeah,
It's if you don't do our way, don't think our way, then you just need to go away.
right.
That you're wrong. It's all our way. I don't know. That's just all the ones that I've come across.
I've came across quite a few like that.
Yeah. So, but
Now
I take it that
there's this one woman I know. She lives on the other side of Michigan, and she's part of the oak, ash, and thorn tradition of Wicca, and they can actually trace their roots back to the Alexandrian tradition.
right.
So
But yeah, but
they
she
are
doesn't put up with a lot of crap.
no, she's retired. She's in her 70s now, and she's just retired from it all.
Right.
She's just yeah, retired. She's done.
She's enjoying her life.
Yep. I think she still does her store. She grows her own herbs, but that was one of the traditions I actually respected because one, she could trace her roots back to the Alexandrian tradition, which is the second tradition of Wicca.
Okay.
And if a person can trace the roots of their tradition back to the first two, in my book, this is just my definition. If they can trace it back to their those first two, it's a Wiccan tradition.
Okay.
If they can't, then it's not a Wiccan tradition.
Okay. So I take it like the idea of the Wiccan tradition is supposed to be that is see, I don't know much about it, so I'm just asking. Is it supposed to be all that, love and light and all natural type stuff, or what is
Um,
it actually supposed to originally be without all the other crap that was put in from the very beginning?
well, it was supposed to be like a religious form of witchcraft. Um, Not like just it wasn't focused on the spells, the magic.
Right.
It was supposed to be like a religious practice of witchcraft, is what it was supposed to be.
See, that confuses me because witchcraft is a craft. It's an individual. You hone what, you know, a certain thing that you're drawn to, just say with the herbs and that stuff, and you use that into your spells or you grow it. It's just, how can you take a craft and turn that into a religion?
Well, they have the focus is more so on the honoring of deity, god and goddess. There's one goddess and one god in Wicca. Wicca
Okay.
was
So,
always supposed to be dual theistic. It wasn't supposed to be polytheistic.
okay.
Um, they got the Horned Lord and the Lady of the Moon.
Okay. So it was just, it was very centered, very, this is how it is. And okay.
Yeah. And the Rick and Reed was not supposed to be law.
So I've always heard it called a poem.
It is.
And then, so they turned up just a poem that this woman wrote and turned it into their law.
Half of them that even uses it don't even know where the fuck it came from. It's always been around. No, it hasn't always been around. It was an
Right.
artistic
Someone,
expression.
right. So yeah, because so she thought it up just because she liked, it, and then so people decided to take and put it into the law. That's part of Wiccan
Right.
law. Okay.
Yeah, they twisted it. Can you believe that?
Oh, not one bit. Oh, that's
So,
interesting. I
yeah.
never knew that. But see, it's not my path. It's not something I'm going to research and dive into.
The real
That's
law of Wicca was written by Lady Shiva.
okay.
And there's like 170 something laws.
That's a bit much.
right, but they covered like different sections within it. It was like coven practice, magical practice. Um, yeah, it covered everything. There was
Okay.
178, I think, of Lady Sheba's laws, and that was supposed to be the laws of Wicca. Which
Okay.
most people that claim to be Wiccan, they have no fucking clue what Lady Sheba's laws are.
I've never even heard of Lady Shiva. I've heard of the Farrars and I've heard of Gardner and Buckland and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but I've never heard of
the
that one.
Farrars are actually still alive.
Are they really?
They live over in Ireland, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, they're
Well,
still
because the
alive.
one video that I saw of them,
Gavin, Gavin Bone, he's dead. The rest of them are dead. But
right? But the
Janet and
Farrars have to
Stuart
be old.
Farrars,
They
they
have
are
to be
old.
old as
70s?
dirt. Oh, that's not that old.
Mm-mm. I think they
Just
were originally Alexandrian.
okay.
So they worked with Alex Sanders.
Now, the Alexanders is the original one.
Gerald Gardner. Sorry, Gerald Gardner is the original.
Right? No, I know, but so his was just Wicca, and
Yeah,
then they went to from just Wicca to the subgroup of is Alexandria, and then
it's a it's a branch off. Uh,
okay,
Alex Sanders was trained in the Gardnerian tradition. He broke off,
okay,
started his own tradition, which uh, he I think he was one of the ones that actually had a falling out, and so he just went in his own direction. And
right. Now, what's the Gardnerians?
Gardnerians is the original tradition.
Okay, so instead of okay, so that's what he created was that one,
But
and then Alexandrian is this like a branch off, like a
yes,
sub branch. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So then apparently, I know somebody also had to go behind Alex Sanders because he started bringing in stupid shit that didn't even belong. Somebody else had to go behind his ass too.
it seems to be a running theme with if you're in if you claim that you're Wiccan, you don't like something, let's just change the name
Yeah,
and throw in some other things with it. I don't know. It just seems, just it's just like following the breadcrumbs. They just don't learn. They just keep doing that.
right. You don't learn. If you have an established tradition, you keep that tradition. Yeah, you can add things to it to a point. But I mean, nothing that will significantly change the tradition.
Right.
Like you can alter a recipe for a potion. You can alter a recipe for an oil.
Right.
Okay, so it's nothing that's gonna like ultimately change the tradition.
But my thing is, why do they have to feel that they got to keep pulling other things into it?
I don't know. I don't know why people are doing this. And now look at what we have. A disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, because definitely Wicca leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. They
It
want
sure
nothing to
does.
do with them.
Yep. Because that now they want to start pulling in Asian traditions, Asian stuff, Indian, Egyptian. Dude, no.
Right. It's just like leave it alone. Work on,
Some people will tell you that Wicca is polytheistic. No, it definitely is not polytheistic. It's dual theistic. There's the Lord and the Lady. That's it.
right.
And the center, the focal point is the worship of the Lord and the Lady.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what the rituals were designed for. One, to honor the Lord and the Lady. Two, to honor the natural cycles of the earth. like the season
Okay.
changes.
Right. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it's to where, I don't know. You know, I know I'm very vocal about it. I don't like taking other traditions and picking that apart and putting in what you want in your own tradition.
Right.
It's just if you want to learn other traditions and be a part of that tradition separately, go for it.
Right.
But don't already have something and then go ahead and just start picking things from it. The
And then call
Egyptians do not
yourself.
belong.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna pick from voodoo. I'm gonna pick from Hinduism. I'm gonna pick from Taoism, and I'm just gonna throw it all together and call it Wicca.
No, there's a lot of them. You just don't touch.
No, they
Um,
had a lot of problems in the beginning. I do know that. I also know that some of these people, I don't know which ones because it was never recorded on who they were, but there was it's 74. Yeah, 74. They came out with the Council of American Witches. It was like a council of 73, 74 witches, Wiccans, I should say.
it
That's
was
my
all Wiccans,
that's my interpretation of it. Yes,
right? So yeah, that ain't a council then. Shouldn't it have been more diverse?
you would
Because
have
you're going off
thought.
of because you're just going off of what they want with their rules.
So they came up with the 13 principles, and
Okay.
they were very basic. They could even this council didn't even last very long. It lasted 6 months, enough to establish the 13 principles, and it disbanded because nobody could get along.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they never. I want to know who the hell these people were. Who were they?
There's no record of their names on it.
There's one who led it. Uh, he was the founder of the Llewellyn Publications. I forgot his full name, but he was the founder of
Right.
the Llewellyn Publications.
Okay.
That's who founded it. That's all I know. That's all I could ever find on it. Like I dug hard. I was like, I want to know who the fuck these people were. I
Right.
want to learn about them. Who were they?
What were their beliefs and everything
Yeah.
else? Yeah.
Was it the Farrars? Was it Alexanders? Was it who the hell were they?
Or were they just Joe Blow off the street?
Yeah.
That's interesting that they even that that's secret that they didn't want to be known.
Right. You should have listed who they are. I mean, come on. You could go and easily find every name of every senator that's ever existed,
Yeah.
and you can read about what bills they passed, what bills they put their signature on, what they stood for, what their party was.
It's almost like what are the ones that group? What are they hiding? Because that's not they're not being transparent.
Right.
Then if
Even if
you
all,
don't know
all
who
if
they
all
are,
we knew about them was their names and what tradition they came from, what coven, the name of their coven, these are not private things.
right?
They, they shouldn't be private. They should be known. Like even if it was just their name, their status in their coven, the name of the coven, and
Even if
what
they or
tradition.
if they're or if they're solitaire.
Right. What
Yeah.
were they? Nobody knows. Who were they?
It,
Did
so
they even exist, or was it just that one man, the founder, who came up with it on his own and created a story?
could be.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's multiple, theories on it. If there's no documentation anywhere,
Mm-mm.
then especially this day and age with, the internet and what you can pull up.
Yeah, I could Google it right now. 13 Principles of Wicca. 13 Principles of Wiccan Belief,
Right.
and like nobody has ever came across the names of what they are, and there's like all kinds of articles on them written by different people, and nobody's ever came up with who the hell were these people.
Is that
You
guy
could
that created it, is he still alive?
founder of Llewellyn. Hold on, I'm looking him up right now.
That's okay.
Llewellyn George, he's dead.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
The founder is his Llewellyn Publications was formed in 1901 by Llewellyn George in Portland, Oregon. So if he founded this Llewellyn publication in 1901, the man, oh, he died in 1950, 1959. Carl, a new era at Llewellyn commenced in 1961, the year Carl L. Lewinsky of St. Oh, that's who it was. It wasn't this Llewellyn George, it was Carl Wesky of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
Here, I'll screen share this.
So he's the
See,
one that founded the 13 principle or the 13 whatever they are.
yeah, this dude here, this guy. Um, so yeah, I don't know if he's still alive or if he's dead because okay, Carl Llewellyn Wesky, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, of Minnesota,
Right.
was the owner and chairman of Llewellyn Worldwide, the world's oldest and largest metaphysical publisher. He played a seminal role in the rise of Wicca and neo paganism in the 1960s and 17 and has been called the follower of New Age. For this public censorship of occult subjects, Whiskey also served as the seventh past Grand Master of something.
Something.
Yeah. So
And that's all that there is on him.
yeah, that's on the uh, Llewellyn website. But this is the
Okay.
guy that did it. But who else did he get? That's what I want to know.
Or was it just him and a bunch of friends, and then he just made up that there
Mm.
was so many other members.
Because the summit was held in St. Paul.
Yeah, but it's weird though if that was held there and there's nothing on the records. Like, was it at a hall, a library, some type of thing that would, have records of who was there during what time?
Right. I can Google it. Let me Google this. What's what was it called? Oh, the American.
Witches council or something?
Oh, the Council of American Witches.
Okay.
Share this tab. 73 and 74. In an effort to define the principles of Wicca, the effort was spearheaded by Carl Wesky, a Wiccan priest and president of Llewellyn Publications in St. Paul, Minnesota. Um, it was supposed to help dispel the myths about witchcraft and distinguish it from Satanism in the eyes of the public and press.
Oh well, yeah, that was back in what, the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Under the sponsorship of Llewellyn Publications, 73 Wiccans from various traditions convened in Minneapolis in the fall of 73 and formed the council. Wesky was named chair. So, yeah.
So it was his thing. A newsletter touchstone was inaugurated. Huh.
And it was published by his company.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But we don't know who was actually on, who the hell these 73 witches and what their tradition, Wiccans were, and what their tradition was.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know. Who were they?
Yeah.
You know, even if all we knew was their names, what coven they were with, the
It
tradition
sounds
that they
like he just
followed,
made it up.
it's possible.
Him and his buddies got together to do something, and just conveniently there's no names ever mentioned, ever written down anywhere, and it was published in with his company,
Yeah,
and then that's it. There's no record of anything else. To me, that's just doesn't sound right. Doesn't sit right.
and nobody has ever thought. Like I've had this conversation with Blazely's Dragon, and I asked him. I said, "Have you ever thought about who they were?" He's like, "No, it never crossed my mind." I said, "Well, it crossed mine. Who the hell were they? Who were these 73 Wiccans? What was their names? What covens did they come from? What were their traditions?" Well, in
Right.
73, there was only two traditions of Wicca, as
Right.
far as I know. I don't know when Sax Wicca started, but as far as I know, there was only the two, Alexandrian and Gardnerian.
Right. It's just weird that after it was written down, then it got dispersed.
Through
Yeah.
Llewellyn Publications.
It sounds too fishy to me. That there was, because it's interesting that it's just his name that's always mentioned,
Yeah.
but nobody else's. I don't know. That's me. I like transparency, because if you don't have it, what are you hiding?
Okay, 73 Sax Wicca started. I just looked it up.
Okay.
It started in 73. By Raymond Buckland.
Right.
So, so that was around.
Okay.
But you would think that, if Buckland did sit on this Council of American Witches or American Wiccans,
He would have had his name all over it.
yeah,
If there was anyone that was within the things, they would have had their names on it. The Farrars, the
yeah.
Buckland, all that. They would have.
The Farrars also did like TV
Well,
interviews.
right. Well, that's what I mean. It's You know, they would have had their names on that if they were part of that council,
Yeah.
not just that one guy. This is interesting.
So yeah, it's I don't know, but you would think, like we were just saying, you would think, all these people like Raymond Buckland, he had Sax Wicca going in '73. That council was '73 and '74.
Right.
So if he was on it, there would be some mention of him being there.
Excuse me.
The
Well, yeah,
The
it's
Farrars were around, but they lived over in the UK.
right. But it's to where even if these people were involved and they weren't named to say with that council, they would have made some point to talk about it
Hmm.
and made it known that they were a part of it.
Yeah.
I would think.
So there was how many Wiccans were actually around then in '73 and '74? I know we had
I
Buckland,
don't see,
we
but yeah,
had
but see,
Gerald Gardner,
that's
but Gerald Gardner was over in the UK, and this is the
right.
Council of American Witches.
Yeah, see that I don't know because see, I've never heard of Wicca until the late '90s, early 2000s, because most times that wasn't something that was mentioned.
Yeah,
It was either you were a witch, but you didn't. There was no mention of Wicca. It was, you were a witch.
you're right.
You did your thing and stuff like that.
So most of the time, even today, like there's still Gardnerian covens, there's still Alexandrian covens,
Right.
but they're not they're not at the forefront.
Well, no, look at how it is nowadays. They probably just stay amongst themselves and do their thing.
Yeah,
They say over in England or, more over in Europe that it's more prevalent. But how is it over there? Is it just as bad as it is here with that,
I don't know.
as we call it, the New Age Wiccans?
Yes,
It's just, it's the aesthetics, is what I call it, that they want to be part of because they like the aesthetics of it, not the
now if
actual
I
work.
if I was doing Wicca and I was training somebody and somebody was like, "Oh, I'm reading," you know, I'm gonna want to know what they're currently doing before I even train them.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, I got 5 different books on crystals. Burn them." I would literally tell them to burn them.
Well, it's fine to know the properties and what they are,
Right.
but that's about it. You know, it's just like, but these people though that, oh, I got all these books. Yeah, you can read the books. That doesn't mean crap.
Right.
You know,
But how many of those damn books did you actually read?
yeah. And what else are you doing to further yourself with it? What type of
Yeah. I
education?
have books too. I have
Oh,
books.
I got plenty of books.
I got books. I've read
Yeah,
most of them.
I can't. The, yeah, I can't move my computer to show all my books that I got.
But I do
But
have books. I do have books.
well,
I've read
yeah,
most of them. And then if I need to go back, if I'm doing something, if I need to go back in, I got them right there, and I can
well,
go back
yeah,
into it.
right. Well, yeah, books are good to have. To read, and then to be able to refresh your mind on some things or for research. You know,
Yep.
but there's a lot more to it than just
Oh, here
I'm
it is.
sorry that than just reading a book. Create doing a ritual and then that's it.
Right.
There's
You know,
more
it's
to it than,
right.
but that's just me. My
If
past.
there wasn't more to it, I don't think the Farrars would have wrote this thick of a book.
Right. Well, yeah. I don't even know
By the
where.
way, the Farrars. And they tell you in the
See that
introduction.
I just don't like some of those names. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't even know where. I'm like hiding from everything. Got so many
So,
cult
in the
books.
introduction, this is what it says: Wicca is both a religion and a craft, aspects which Margaret Murray has distinguished as ritual witchcraft and operative witchcraft. As a
Right.
religion, like any other religion, its purpose is to put the individual and the group in harmony with the divine creative principles of the cosmos and its manifestations at all levels. As a craft, its purpose is to achieve practical ends by psychic means for good, useful, healing purposes. In both aspects, the distinguishing characteristics of Wicca are its nature based attitude, its small group anatomy, with no gulf between priesthood and congregation, and its philosophy of creative polarities at all levels, from goddess and god to priestess and priest. This book is concerned with the first aspect, Wicca as a religion, ritually expressed.
Right.
So they tell you, the authors, which is the Farrars, they tell you in their introduction that they are Wicca.
Well, yeah. I just don't like some of the names. Like, but you figure with my books for my demonology, just alone, one of them, is that.
Right.
Then you have these other three that go along with it. It's like I have all my, there's that one. And then the complete book of black magic and witchcraft, you know, there's
See,
that
you
one.
follow a left hand path.
Yeah. Well, see,
Yeah.
some of it, demonology isn't what some people do, some people don't. Is to where they're more of it's a neutral path because it's just not this or this. They like because it's blended, they follow it's like follow the own path because studying to be a priestess in that thing.
Right.
But well, yeah, it's to where because my path, see, we don't have deities. We don't follow that. I work with Hecate, Lilith, Morgana. I always say her name wrong, but
The
she's good with
Morgan.
it. Yeah. And those are the three that I work with when need be. It's like a relationship that we form together. But now one that I like is this one, the Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells. But it's from all over the world. Every path known to man. There's that one, you know, and you know, it's really and it's small print, so it's just not. I like these ones. See, to me, that's why with Wicca, I don't know. I guess I don't like how they just stick with their thing.
Well, okay, would you say that every tradition of witchcraft is the same?
No, witchcraft is individual to each person. That's witchcraft, though. That's a craft. A tradition is not a craft. Is not witchcraft
Right. Okay.
because just say like under paganism. I think I said that right if I remembered what I just said. It's to where like under the paganism umbrella, you
Mm-hmm.
have so many different paths. They're not witches. Not all witches. They don't all practice witchcraft. You know, the Druids had some of it. It did what they
Druidry
did.
is definitely not witchcraft.
No, it's not witchcraft, but they have magic in it.
Yes.
But it's not witchcraft. That is more of just a name that is what is associated with it.
I
You know,
think more so what witchcraft is, in my opinion, is the folk magic of different areas.
well, you figure witchcraft. it's a craft of the different energies of nature. Your heart. Like we're gonna use names. A lot of people. You have the kitchen witch, which deals with a lot of herbalisms and with the spells, with the spices and
See,
creating
I
that
don't,
stuff.
right. I don't like that very much because it's just, there's kitchen
The
witch, there's
names,
sea witch, there's this, there's
yeah.
that. It's like,
Well, because people
no,
want to. Well, people. Well, yeah. Instead of just saying you're a witch, they want to identify what they do. I don't know where the damn names came from. Instead of just saying you're a witch. But then
I don't like all those labels.
but see, that's just it. I think they do it to show what kind of witch they are. I don't know because I don't like labels. That's why I was just using an example that people will do instead of just saying you're a witch, but you specialize in herbalism or
Right,
this or that instead of the sea witch. I work with the element of water. Okay, so you're a witch, but your main thing is the water element. Just something basic and simple. But I don't know when these names all started. It had to have been
uh,
recent because I grew up, it was a witch. You were a witch. No matter what you
right,
did of that craft, you were a witch. You know,
right.
I grew up, in the 70s and stuff, and that's how it always was. 70s, 80s, and so forth.
I think we're getting more comfortable because we're 50 minutes in. We're almost at an hour. Fuck it, let's keep going until 60 minutes. Well, I think we're
Well,
getting
yeah.
more comfortable with this. We're at 60 minutes
Well,
almost.
yeah. Well, yeah. We just started this. You figured the first season we were just doing, voice, on
Yeah.
Spotify and stuff. And then haven't really been doing live streaming except for now, it's been what, maybe 4 months, 5 months?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we would do it sporadically, but now we're doing it every week. So we're getting more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Plus I like it because it's the dialogue. It's just not cut and dry and,
Hmm.
you know, this and that. I don't know. It's just me. Plus, I love to ramble.
Um, I don't get all those labels. I really don't. If you're practicing brujeria, the Mexican witchcraft, okay. If you're practicing Irish witchcraft, okay.
Yeah, you
These are
and
I think witchcraft is more of a like a regional thing.
right. Well,
Brujeria is out of Mexico.
right.
You
Well, yeah, they
have
have their name.
voodoo, which is another form of witchcraft. It comes out of Africa.
Right.
Hoodoo is an Americanized version of voodoo.
Right. And it's where, is if you are practicing your own way, you know, you're a witch. You know, to have labels, if you feel comfortable with that, it's you do you.
Right.
But I don't understand why you have to specify what kind you are, instead of just saying, you're a witch, but you specialize in herbalism, as whatever element, a fire witch. It's like, I don't understand those things,
I don't
especially,
understand that either. Oh,
the
I'm a sea
one,
witch. I'm a kitchen witch. I'm a this a
a,
witch.
s- a sea witch, when people
That's
say
fucking
they're a sea witch,
retarded.
it, oh, I don't like that word.
Oh, sorry.
It's to, it's to where, um, the, a sea witch always reminds me of a siren. I'm like,
Ursula.
that's what that reminds me of. And I'm like, are you serious? And the one that gets me the most is the one that a lot use that you and I both can't stand. That
Crystal
one
witch.
I didn't even hear about that one. No, baby witch.
Oh God.
It's like, no, you're a beginner, you're a novice, you're an apprentice, you're whatever. You ain't a baby witch. God, it's like,
You're an adult. If you're an adult, but you're learning something, this does not make you a baby. Sorry, you're not an
no,
infant.
no. When someone says baby witch, I'm thinking of a little toddler dressed up. as a witch for Halloween. That's what I think of.
Me too.
It's where
No, you're a
it's
novice. You're a
yeah,
beginner. You're a neophyte. You're whatever other
whatever
beginner
path you're
word.
on.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a beginner. You're a student. You're just beginning as a student. Hell,
Yes.
you could be like, I'm a freshman witch. Okay, that makes more sense than
Even
baby
if they
witch.
use, oh yeah, and then
Fledgling,
yeah,
fledgling.
yeah. There's a whole bunch of other names. I wouldn't even be caught dead saying I'm a baby witch.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm a beginner witch. That would gain more respect with, than using those stupid labels.
You know, if all they said was, I don't know what I am, all I know is I'm a pagan, and I'm going to leave it at that, I would have more respect for that. Or if
Yeah,
somebody just says, oh, I'm just a pagan, that's it. I would have more
yeah.
respect for that than that fucking
Oh
baby
yeah.
witch.
I have more respect for people that will admit that they don't know what they are and just say, I'm still learning all the different things. I just am going to classify myself as a pagan until I find the right path.
Yeah, I would have more respect
It's,
for that than anything else.
oh, yeah.
Than
But
that
see, that's
baby.
where, oh, yeah. But see, that's also where in the loop of it, that drives me nuts to a point with Wiccans is to where why is it to where everything has to be their way? That they don't recognize you if it's not their way.
Yeah.
I don't understand that because
I
there's
mean,
so many different
you
people
got
that practice witchcraft. It's not a
just
well,
different
yeah, there's
forms of it. There is different
right,
forms of it. Like brujeria is different than voodoo.
right, but yeah, it's all a certain form of witchcraft. But it's to where what I'm saying though is when if you practice it, as long as you actually put the work in and the time, you have every right to call yourself a witch
Mm-hmm.
than to sit there. You don't have to follow a specific tradition or a specific religion, even.
No.
It's to where if you want to claim that L, because all it is a title, it doesn't mean, and it's not who you are. It's just, it's if that's the path that you are, a witch, then, you have that thing, just like,
Right.
the Norse or, Druids or different things that follow under the umbrella. It's just, Wiccans are not the be all end all. Of course, that's my favorite saying of witchcraft. And a lot
No.
of them think they are. That's why I have almost a disdain for Wicca because maybe back then
I
I
don't know
wasn't
where the hell
exposed to
that
it.
attitude ever came from.
It's almost like it came with almost it was like on the wave of the new age
Yeah. That and
because
those that proclaim that, oh, I'm a crystal witch. Well, there's no such thing. Sorry, honey.
no, it's you're a
That's
witch that likes crystals.
yes.
But you can't even claim that you're a witch if you don't. Because see, a witch, this is what I don't understand. A true witch, has to be as what I've always referred to as a gray witch. The balance walks the light and the dark. You have to have the light and the dark to be a witch because you have to have that balance. Wiccans will not identify with the dark. They want no part of it. So how can they turn around and claim that they're a witch and do witchcraft if they can't have the balance? Because in witchcraft you have to have the balance.
Well, a lot of traditions of witchcraft is like that.
That's the
But
only one
I
I
don't
know.
think Wicca was ever designed to be light and fluffy bunny. I
Well,
don't
see, I
think
don't know back then. I'm
I
talking
don't
about
think it was
now.
ever like that. Um, I think maybe they preached like, "Hey, don't go out of your way to harm people. That's not what we're about." I think it
Well,
was
any
more on the lines like that. Don't go out of your way to harm people.
well, yeah, well, a lot of the ones though that I haven't read the books. I know you have, but it's to where do they have it in the what I've researched is they have it to where you don't even look towards the darker side of nature or
I don't. There was never
magic.
any rule. There was never any rule against it.
So that was the original way. So then where did it change? Because nowadays everything is all light and airy and you're like people like me on my path, we're evil. We are looked down upon. But yet at the same time when they want something done, they come to people like me. But they won't acknowledge it.
Right. Do
So
it your
when did
damn
it
self.
change? Oh yeah, well I'm very selective on
I
who I
won't.
help.
I've had people come to me. Will you cast a curse against this person? No, I won't. I'll pay you. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it. That's not what they're doing is you're bringing in a third party into a conflict that isn't even theirs to begin with.
Well, yeah, but some people, a lot of, I'll flat out, I don't care. A lot of fakes will for the money.
Hmm.
It's to where
I
because
won't do it.
now I've done it. Well, I've created stuff for people, my candles and stuff like that. But I've had other people come to me and I've had to, go into it in detail and it's taken time, but I have done curses for our people. But it's been warranted. It's not like someone, is their ego's been bruised and they got a, bump nose and they want the other person to suffer. No, it has to be a good reason that someone, hurt someone else that, they're lucky that they just got a curse.
Now, if it was for this, yeah. If somebody from this came to me and wanted my assistance in doing it, I'm not like I've done it one time, but I did not do it. I did not do it. I I assisted. I helped
Right.
provide the energy. I talked them through it, but I said you have to do it. But I taught him how to do it.
Right. Well, yeah, that's stuff, but it's to where, see, because of what I do and my curses and hexes, I don't share that information.
Right.
It's to where I won't teach anyone those specific ones.
Right. But I won't. I won't. My principle that I stand on is I won't do it for somebody else. I will
Right.
show you how to do it, especially if you're
Yeah,
part
you'll
of
help them.
this.
Right.
But if you're not part of this, I'm not showing you shit. I'm not showing you how to do it. I'm not teaching you how to do it. I'm not doing it for you.
Right. But even to help show them, there has to be a good enough reason,
Yep.
not just, well, they hurt my feelings or, this person did this. It has to be a damn good reason.
Yep.
Now,
It
the
has
only
to be
time that doesn't have to be a reason is when it's I'm protecting
right.
my family or my friends. You know, I throw that energy out and
Right.
it's
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
no, no, I know what you're
this is
saying.
an issue that you're not a part of. This had nothing to do with you. And somebody comes to you, hey, will you do this for me?
Well, now some traditions will that
Yeah.
I've seen, in that, but that's their thing. Us personally, if someone's come, for a certain candles and that, I will because it's warranted. But it's, as we've talked. I sit there, I ask a lot of questions
Yeah.
with it, but you know, I don't know. I guess where did it switch from with Wicca to you know just watch what you do, this or that, to now it's you know you can't do that stuff. Now, I'm not saying all Wiccans are like that, but I'm saying the ones that, we've
The
run
fake
into.
ones.
Yeah, that ones that we've run into, you
I don't
know.
know where it
And
all came
and and
from. I don't
there's
know
been a
who
couple,
started it.
right? Because I know there's a coven that we both know the people who run it are like that
Maybe
weren't
they
associated
didn't
with
do their
people.
research the way they were supposed to.
Right. It's just it's interesting how they certain ones claim this, but to be that you have to have this.
Because a lot of things, these figureheads, they, a lot of things, yeah, they shared quite a bit of information, but they also left information out for a reason. There was some things that they weren't going to share.
Right.
Now, are you going? Would you, out of everything would you put all that information into a book, every bit of it, even the really dark shit that you do, and publish it and get it out there in people's hands?
No, no, because there's too many idiots that would gladly take. Yeah, but see, my path is dangerous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Wiccan is not dangerous.
but I'm just saying the
In my
concept
path,
is
yeah,
the
right.
same.
No, to a point, it's like because my path can actually cause death if not done right and the precautions aren't there. It's to where, but Wicca, he, he, it's like apples and oranges with that one. But the book though that I have been writing, I did, you know, put out that one book that I did that had certain things in it,
Yeah,
but I took it off from being published because I'm revamping it and putting a lot more into it and taking some things out. So, there's going to be quite a bit of my knowledge that I don't mind sharing into that.
right,
But certain things with calling forth now, certain books, like the stuff with demonology does have things on how to call forth demons. But you do that at your own peril, that kind of energy, that's your own thing.
right,
If they published it to where with that, by all means, you do that, but I will not give you incantations and how to call forth certain beings of energy to because I'm not gonna but even in my book, I have in there in a couple different places. If you perform these, you do it at your own risk.
right.
I am not held liable. I have to put that in there. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just certain things. It's just interesting, to find out what's what. And, Wicca's not my thing, not my path. And, anyone that wants to do it or is it, you know, as long as it's you actually are one, you just don't pretend to be one for, the aesthetics, but you're one,
Right.
I have no issues with it. I
Uh-huh.
really don't. I have issues with the face and what they do and what they
Yeah.
stand for.
Yeah, that's where I stand as well.
Right.
So, thing is, if when it comes to Wicca, if you don't know who the figureheads are, you don't know the real history behind the read. You don't know the laws of Lady Sheba. You don't know these things. You are not Wiccan. Sorry, honey. Because if your tradition does not come from, can be traced back to, okay, like I said, the oak, ash, and thorn tradition can be traced to the
Right.
Alexandrian tradition. Therefore, it is a Wiccan tradition. Even if
Right.
it's, something by a
And
different
no,
name, it's not going by, and it's got its own flavor, but it still has its roots in one of these traditions. It's
right. And that, and I respect that to where as long as it's not just stuff that, people go by because nowadays too many like the aesthetics.
oh, anybody can be Wiccan if they want to claim the title. Okay, no, that's not how this works.
Well, it's just like a lot of people claim that they're Norse and
Right.
they're not. They just love the because of the show, the Vikings. Um, all the stuff to it. They're all of a sudden, oh, that's what it means to be it.
Yeah.
No, there's so much history and it's still being, found out, from archaeology and stuff, there's so much behind what it means to be Norse, just like it would be with Druidism and the older ones that have been lost for so long, that they're just now finding different things through archaeology.
Yeah,
Yes, you know it's just too many are claiming to be this and that just for the aesthetics of the feel of it.
right. Well, you're back again, aren't you?
Oh, well, yeah, that's our third co-host.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't do that with my dog.
No, your dog's too big,
Yeah, she's 125 pounds.
and he's only 12.
Yeah, there's a big difference. So,
Wow, we covered a lot, and I think this was actually. How many more of episodes do we got for the Wiccan season, or is this the last?
uh, I think I'm not sure because I don't know how much more that we really want to get into it.
I think we pretty well covered everything. We even talked
I
about
think
Lady
we have to.
Shiva's.
Yeah. Yeah, because we
Um,
don't need to go into detail and explain anything. That's
yeah. Let's
because that's
see.
not our thing.
Oh, the next one would have been the Wiccan Reed and the Laws of Lady Shiva, but I think we pretty well covered that.
Yeah, we skim the surface, and if people want to go into it, they can find YouTube videos of
Yeah.
Wiccans talking
We
about
even
it.
covered Sax Wicca. We covered various
We covered a
traditions of
lot
Wicca.
today.
Yes, it
Yes.
wasn't just the figureheads of Wicca. It was.
Well, it started off and then it just exploded, which is I like these kind of podcasts with us doing this.
Come to think, you didn't know what you were going to say, but you came up with some things.
Yeah. I always like to play the devil's advocate.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Cauldron Brew. I'm Jay. This is Julie. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.